Alright, hey guys, what's up? In this video we're going to talk about awareness and validating your own emotions, because I believe those two topics are extremely important if you are aiming to grow as a person. You wanna continuously improve yourself. You're on a path to self-mastery, and those two components are, I believe, very important for your overall well-being, and the awareness will allow you to really tap into the way you feel, and by doing that, by allowing the way you feel, by allowing to be there, you will suffer so much less. And I believe that it's very important for us to raise our awareness, because by raising our awareness we realize that we are not a slave to our emotions and our thoughts, and we can become more aware. And it's actually, I watched a video by Eckhart Tolle today, and he was talking about fear, and I realized that awareness is not something straightforward. Like, for me it is, because I've been practicing meditation for a long time. I've been practicing introspection for a long time, you know, watching myself, watching my own emotions, paying attention to how I feel, to, you know, do a body scan, where do I feel the tension, etc. But it's not for everyone, not at all. And the way he talked about it made me realize that, hey, I kind of want to make a video about this myself, because not everyone knows about awareness or raising your awareness, or why I believe it's important. And so the reason why I think it's important is because unless you become aware of your current emotional state or your thoughts, unless there is a certain amount of awareness, you will forever be a slave to your own emotions and thoughts. You will act on impulses, you will not be aware of your behaviors, and you will be dragged around by all these feelings, impressions, and thoughts without even being aware of it. And by creating more awareness, by cultivating more awareness about your mental state, your physical state, your thoughts, your feelings, you can then create space between the feeling or the thought and the actions you're taking, right? And this allows true freedom. I believe that free will and freedom are only possible when there is a certain level of awareness involved. And so, for example, when you're experiencing fear or worry about the future, you're worrying that some hypothetical situation might happen. And in your mind, this can cause a lot of negative thoughts, you know, like, oh, I might lose a loved one, or I might lose all my money, or I might lose my job, or whatever it is, you know, and you start worrying. And this is actually an illusion. And without awareness, you can get lost in this train of thought, and you will feel shit, you will feel very bad without you even knowing why exactly you feel bad. And some people, I believe everyone can at least reach a point where you become aware of the fact that, okay, I'm having these thoughts and they are not helping me, they're not helpful in this moment, because worrying about losing your money or losing a loved one is not gonna prevent that thing from happening, or it's not adding to your current situation, right? So we believe that by worrying, by thinking about a thing that we actually don't have control over, like we cannot control if somebody is going to leave, or, you know, or if the market's gonna change, or if our job, of course we have a certain degree of agency, right? We can control our behavior in such a way that we don't need to lose our job. But sometimes companies need to do layoffs, and then you lose your job without your doing, right? So we can't really control that. And that's why it's so frightening, right? And we believe that by worrying about it, we can kind of like exert some kind of control. But it's an illusion. It's a very powerful illusion, because when you don't incorporate awareness within the situation, then you will forever be a slave of the negative feelings that arise from all this worrying. However, you can cultivate an awareness where you realize, okay, I'm thinking these negative thoughts, I'm worrying about something, and it's not helping me, it's not good for me. So a good question to ask yourself is, whenever you catch yourself thinking these thoughts and a good reason, a good way to catch yourself thinking thoughts is learning meditation, right? And I talked about this in many of my other videos, but meditation and mindfulness in general, it teaches you to become aware of the thoughts or the feelings you're having. So by increasing your awareness, you can catch yourself worrying about something and then realizing this is not actually helping me. So a good question to ask yourself is this thought serving me? Is this helping me in this very moment? And simply asking that question can already relieve a little bit of the tension, a little bit of the worrying, because you become aware and you realize, no, it's actually not really helping me. I think that it's helping me. It's an illusion that I exert control over the future, for example, by worrying about something, but it actually is doing nothing. It's only making you suffer in this very moment. So by becoming aware, you can then distance yourself of the worry and decide, okay, you cannot decide to stop thinking about something. Like, it's like, if I tell you not to think of a pink elephant, the thing you're thinking about now is a pink elephant. Just because I tell you not to, you start to think about it, right? So trying to not think about something or trying to not worry is not really a good strategy. I mean, I tried it like forever and it never proved to be an effective strategy to get rid of worry. What you want to do though is, first of all, become aware that you're worrying, right? That's step number one. Cultivating the awareness. And you can practice this skill by meditating daily for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, as long as you want. But by practicing it on a regular basis, you will, it's a skill. It's a skill. The awareness, cultivating the awareness is a skill, and you can learn it with practice. It's like playing a musical instrument. You become better at it with practice, right? And you can never be bad at awareness. There is no, you want to try to remove all the judgment. You don't want to judge yourself for not being able to be aware. Like, no, there is no right or wrong. There is only increasing your awareness. There is no basic level of where you suck at it, for example, right? So every moment you become a little bit more aware is perfect. It's exactly how it should be, all right? So first step, becoming aware, all right? Second step is validating your emotions. And this is huge. This is very, very important, because most of us, many of us, we grow up in families where our parents might not be able to deal with our intense emotions as a child, for example. Like, we start crying, or we are very joyful and making a lot of sounds and being super enthusiastic, and our parents, they tend to dismiss these emotions. They either tell us to shut up, to stop crying, to be more quiet, to not enjoy ourselves as much, and so they don't validate the emotions that we're experiencing. And this has huge implications for our upbringing and for the way we develop into the future, because we learn that it's not okay to feel a certain way. When we are scared, when we are afraid, when we are crying, when we are sad, people around us tell us, hey, it's okay now, get over it. Like, it's fine, stop crying, whatever it is. And the emotions, they get not validated. They are not okay. We learn that it's not okay to feel a certain way, right? And so this is a very important thing to become aware of. And the awareness allows you to realize that, okay, right now I feel resistance maybe towards worrying or towards my anger or towards my sadness, because I learned that it's not okay to feel these feelings. And this is where this second step comes in. It's validating these emotions, because not many people are going to do that for you, and none of them should. Like, there is no obligation for other people to validate your emotions. It's simply not their responsibility. It's nice when somebody does that. It's really intimate, and it serves a great purpose. It can be very healing. You can feel super supported and loved, and it's an amazing feeling when somebody validates your emotions. However, you should, in the first place, learn to do it yourself, because you will be with yourself forever until you die. And so if you learn to validate your own emotions, you will never have to rely on somebody to validate them for you, right? It's nice if somebody does it, but you will sometimes find yourself all alone by yourself, and then there will be nobody to validate your emotions. And the second thing is, if you only allow others to validate your emotions for you, you will be super dependent on them, and this will cause a lot of other problems within a relationship, because you feel threatened if they're about to leave, or you feel afraid, or you feel hurt when they don't validate your emotions, etc. right? So you want to cultivate the skill of validating your own emotions when you're feeling upset, or when you're worrying, or when you're scared, or when you're feeling intense negative or positive emotions, because some people also have a lot of difficulty with showing happiness and joy and being, you know, playful and stuff like that. So we want to learn to validate your emotions. And how do you go about it? Like, how do you validate your emotions? So firstly, you need to become aware of what you feel, and I'll make another video about how to kind of like do that. And then you want to say to yourself, I am here with you now. I am completely and fully here with you now. And what you feel is 100% valid, right? You wanna talk to yourself like that. You wanna validate your emotions. I understand that you feel like this. It's valid that you feel like this. I would feel the same way as you if I would be in your situation. It's okay that you feel like this. Talk to yourself like this. Like, validate the emotions. Make sure that you allow yourself to feel these emotions. Like, you don't judge yourself for it. Oh, you should not worry, or you should not feel sad, because by doing that you resist them, and then they will prolong themselves. What you resist persists. Like, this is something that I repeat quite often because it's very true. So you want to allow these emotions to be there. You want to be okay with it. Like, okay, I'm worrying right now, or okay, I'm sad, or okay, I'm angry, and it's valid. Like, it's valid that I feel like this. Just, it's my system that is in this state, so it's 100% valid. I'm not saying that it's righteous, right? Sometimes you can be angry because of no apparent reason, or, you know, just because, and you don't really have the right to. Well, I believe you have the right to every emotion. However, you don't have the right to act on those emotions, right? If you're angry, you have a right to be angry. I don't believe you have the right to start insulting someone or hurting them, you know? Like, you don't have the right to act on these emotions. But by raising and increasing your awareness, you allow yourself to feel these emotions and create some space. And this is very important to realize, that by becoming aware and allowing the feelings to be there, you can distance yourself from these feelings, from these thoughts, and you can then bring in your overarching awareness, and you can realize that I have a choice here. I can decide to put my attention on something else. For example, in the case you're worrying, you can worry about the future, that you're going to lose your job, and then you can consciously decide, okay, these thoughts, they are not serving me, they're making me feel anxious, and it's not helping in any way. So let me take my focus and direct it onto something else. And this is what I think is key. You don't want to not worry about the future. You want to take your focus and attention and put it on something else. Go do the dishes, go for a walk, talk to someone, write something down, whatever it is. Do something productive, do something you like, listen to a song. Just put your attention and put it on something else. And maybe the thoughts will still be there, or the feeling will still be there, but you will feel that sometimes you will not worry, and then you might think, oh, I haven't been worrying for like a minute, and then you start worrying, and oh shit, I'm back at the loop again. And then you do something else, and then you maybe don't worry for like 5 minutes, and then you put your focus on something else, and then it fades, it dissipates, it changes, because it will change 100%. I guarantee you, 100% sure, your current state of mind is going to be different half an hour from now, 1 hour from now, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. It's going to change. That is, I guarantee you that, right? Unless you keep resisting it, and then you kind of stay in that state, right? So you wanna prevent yourself from resisting the feeling, and you want to focus your attention on something else. Keep a list of things that you like doing, that energize you, and pick something from that list, whatever, or whatever you feel like doing. Just try to put your focus and attention on something else. Or you can decide to sit down on your couch and just sit and allow these feelings to be there, and you will find yourself changing state over the period of just sitting there on your couch. Because usually we suffer, almost always we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So we think that we will lose our loved ones or our money, and then we suffer from these thoughts. But if you realize that it's just thoughts, and you become aware that these thoughts are not serving you, you detach yourself from these thoughts or feelings, and you realize that you don't have to be a slave to these thoughts and feelings, because many people actually are. They are unaware of the thoughts and the feelings that they are having, and they just lash out, they do something, you know, they try to get rid of this uncomfortable feeling inside them, but they're not really aware what is causing these feelings or these thoughts. And so by really paying close attention to the thoughts you're having, you realize that most of them are just an illusion, right? Worry is trying to control the future when we actually can't. So allow yourself to feel worried, to feel anxious, and then realize, okay, right now these thoughts are not really helping or serving me. Let me put my attention on something different that actually energizes me, or that actually like makes me feel good about myself, right? So first step, become aware. Practice this through meditation. Second, validate your own emotions. Practice this by speaking compassionate language to yourself. It's okay that you feel like this. It's fine. It's valid. All right? Validate these emotions. Allow them to be there. Allow this uncomfortable feeling to be inside your body, because it's just actually when you really start to pay close attention to your thoughts and feelings, it's just kind of like a sensation. It's like whenever you really look closely, it loses a lot of its strength. Usually it's like this cloud, this kind of like very not well defined something, and by paying close attention you see it like dissolves, it kind of dissipates, because like, okay, what is actually like, what is going on? I maybe feel some tension inside my chest, right? Start to pay attention, like when you're scared, where do I feel it? It's just some tension inside my chest, maybe in my stomach. Okay, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but maybe being crammed in a subway between like too many people is also a little bit uncomfortable, you know, and then you get out and it changes, right? So it's just an uncomfortable feeling, a temporary uncomfortable feeling, and it's fine, right? We can handle that. We can handle this uncomfortable feeling. It's okay. It will change. It will go away. So realize that it's okay to feel like that. And then third step is direct your focus and attention on something else. And I talked about this in other videos. You want to keep a list of things that make you feel good, that you know that energize you, that excite you, that you learn something from, whatever, right? And then you want to find things that you get fully immersed into, like full immersion. It's like called like being in the zone, being in flow state. That's why I kind of call this channel Flow of Consciousness, because by creating these videos, I find myself in a flow state. I don't really think about anything else. Now I am, because I'm talking about it, right? But usually when I'm recording these videos, it's just a flow state. Like I enjoy doing this. I enjoy sharing my knowledge with you. I enjoy talking about these topics, and it's fantastic. It's amazing. Like I'm not worrying about anything right now. I'm just trying to provide value and like teach or share with you what I've learned over the years. All right. So you want to keep the list and find things that you're fully engaged in, right? And by adding awareness to these moments, you will then become aware of what actually is serving you, you know? So this awareness, raising your awareness, your emotional awareness also, is allowing you to distinguish between what is serving you, what is not serving you, what is energizing you, what is not energizing you. The more you increase your awareness, the better you will be at making distinctions between things that are good for you and things that are actually not good for you, right? And this is huge. This is super important, because by doing that, you can then consciously decide to pick things that move you in the right direction on your journey of self-development. You know, you want to take action towards becoming a better person, improving yourself. Well, the things that bring you down, they're usually not going to bring you to a higher level. Of course, at some point it's important to know that sometimes going down is the only way up, right? Because you gotta first reach this low point to then realize, okay, this is not at all where I want to be, and then your whole system is motivated to get you out there, and then you will be primed towards making huge transformation, huge leaps, right? And a breakup, for example, is a perfect moment to do that, because you're so devastated, right? So lost and confused and hurt and sad and angry and all these feelings together. It's so overwhelming, but it's also a very potent place to be in. And it can be similar, like losing something that's super important to you, like a job, like a family member, like a partner, like a pet. You know, some people, they really care about their pets. and for them they're like partners. So when they lose their pets, they're suffering tremendously. And so these are moments where we can learn so much about ourselves. And raising awareness is usually a natural result, because we feel so much pain, so much discomfort, that we become aware of the discomfort, of the pain. We know what it's caused by, or we know what kind of like led to it, and we start this journey of self-inquiry, and we're trying to discover like, okay, why am I acting like this? Why am I reacting to the situation in such an intense way, right? So many intense emotions. So these 3 steps, I believe, are incredibly important if you want to live a life of fulfillment, of satisfaction, of richness, right? Because I believe that there is so much richness in our emotions. The emotional spectrum is there for a reason. Fear is there to prevent us from doing things that might hurt us, and is there to notify us when we are going in the wrong direction. For example, anger is there to show us that our boundaries are being violated, and so you can learn something about your boundaries. I actually would like to make a video about the ways that different emotions channel different things. Maybe I will just talk about it in this video. It doesn't really matter. So for example, fear, like I said earlier, is a messenger. All the emotions are messengers. They show us different things about ourselves and the world that we live in, the people that we interact with. And if we learn to pay close attention to our emotions, if we raise our emotional awareness, that is also partly what this channel is about, because I believe that by raising your emotional awareness, you can find a treasure of knowledge and wisdom inside yourself. It's already there. And by paying more attention, by looking into it, by realizing that it's there to tell us something, you can learn so much about yourself and others. So fear is there to prevent us from doing stuff that might hurt us, like touching the fire. We are afraid of the fire because we don't want to get hurt, right? Or it tells us that right now we are not really in a state where we should be, and we need to get out of here. Like fear, sadness also. Sadness can be more a emotion that shows us that, okay, we are starting to get disengaged with life, right? We are healing from something. Sadness can be a very healing emotion in a way. Like if you don't get stuck there, it's an important part of a grief process when we lost something, being sad about it. It can keep us stuck very easily, the sadness. So you gotta be aware that sadness is usually there to process things, and then you want to focus on letting go of the sadness and realizing that, okay, I feel like this right now, let me change my focus and put it on something that makes me feel energized, or is more externally oriented, right? So fear, anger is when our boundaries are being violated, when we experience injustice. So this is a very important emotion to pay attention to whenever we are trying to figure out the things that are important to us. Like if we get very angry about something to someone, try to pay close attention why that's happening. We can also be very angry about, like, against ourselves, towards ourselves, right? When we're violating our own boundaries. Usually that's what happens. Try to keep this in mind. Whenever you're super angry, try to pay attention. Why do I feel angry? Why is why do I feel this visceral reaction? Why does it cause me to feel so angry, right? Pay attention, be aware, and you will learn so much about yourself, all right? So then joy and happiness usually show us that we are in the right place, like we are doing the things that are closest to our blueprint, right? Our emotional spectrum is geared towards moving towards happiness and joy, right? We want to move in the direction of joy and happiness. And if we feel those emotions, it means that we are on the right track. And I'm not talking about the bliss when you're taking drugs, like, no, or when you're like eating amazing like food or whatever it is, like, right? Because these are like more the hedonistic pleasures, and of course you kind of want to keep a nice balance. I believe that balance is very important. You don't want to chase these earthly pleasures forever, But that when you raise your awareness, you will start to notice a big difference between doing something that makes you feel good temporarily, like drugs or like having sex or like eating food, whatever, and the things that actually like, it's a different joy, it's a different kind of happiness and fulfillment when you're doing something that is really in line with your blueprint, with who you are, with your values. Like creating these videos, for me, it's so much in line with what I stand for, like, you know, sharing knowledge, reducing suffering in the world, talking about the things that I like to talk about, you know, helping others. These things are so much in line with who I am as a person that it feels good for me. It feels natural. I feel joy, I feel gratitude when I'm doing this, right? And you, when you raise your awareness, you will start to feel these things whenever you're engaging in specific behavior. And by raising your awareness, you will figure out the things that get you there. So pay attention to when you really feel joyful and at peace and happy. Pay attention to those things and even write them down whenever you notice you're doing something. It can be simple things, you know, taking care of children, walking a dog, meditating, creating something, going to work, visiting your grandparents, whatever it is, right? By raising your awareness, you will figure out these things, you will feel it, and then you will know, okay, I want to increase the time I spend on these things, because I assure you they will make you feel more fulfilled. And it's not a magic pill, right? It's not going to be solved immediately. Everything will be all right and you will feel happy and blissful forever. That's not how it works. However, your emotional, it's an emotional guidance system. That's how I like to call it. And it guides you towards the things that you should be focusing on or you want to be focusing on, and it allows you to distinguish the things that are not really good for you as a person. So that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about in this video. Validating your own emotions is a very critical step in the journey of personal development and growth, because it allows you to rid yourself of the illusion. You will realize that thoughts and the worries and all the feelings that you're having, not the feelings, the thoughts that you're having are just illusions. And by becoming aware, you can realize that it's illusions and that they are not serving you. And by realizing that, you can then create space and take action towards doing something that actually makes you feel better or more engaged with life. So thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards. Thank you for making yourself and thus the planet a better place one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching. Talk soon, guys. Bye.